How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another common mistakes video. You notice we are on a different map today. I know I'm always on the same map for these, but I'm going into Coastline, and mostly just because of my first common mistake. But before that, we're going to be going over more bronze focused common mistakes. I think a lot of bronze players do this, but not saying that not other players do this as well. Some of these, I mean, these are kind of interchangeable. Everyone sometimes makes these mistakes, but for the most part, when I'm watching like bronze players videos for the coaching series, this is stuff I see a lot, and I point out all the stuff usually in the coaching series. If you want a lot of common mistakes, go watch those coaching series. I point out basically everything. So with that out of the way, I say we get into the first common mistake, and it has everything to do with barricades, how to get through barricades the right way. So let's go to this barricade, for example. So what I've been seeing a lot from the coaching videos is people go up to the window, maybe not this dumbfounded, but they go up to it and they break it like this, and they shove their head up in it, and then they back up. But they don't realize that you can knife a window or a door from at an angle like where I'm at right here. So all you have to do is just kind of peek in like that, and that leaves you way less exposed. So if we go back over here, what do you think leaves you more exposed? If I just go like that, or if I go that? So that's the big difference between dying at windows and not dying at windows. Only reason I bring this up is because literally every single game, not every single game, but a good chunk of games that I've watched for the coaching series have had this happen. They punch the window and then they have their head in there and then they move out of the way. Instead, punch as you're like running, because it works like that. So you should do stuff like how I'm showing you there. But that's not all I want to talk about barricades. I kind of want to give a kind of a quick tip that a lot of people just aren't using yet in the game. So we're going to hop up into maybe a common run out, and that would be the aquarium run out on this map. If you've played this map a lot, you've probably had this happen sometime. This run out right here, the aquarium run out. And sometimes you might have noticed that the door is actually closed, but somehow they still run out. So this is kind of a tip. This is a higher rank tip, but you could break the window, right? And if you have it like this big, you're able to crouch through it. So what's amazing about this is from down here, all you see is the top of the barricade, and you see that it's still barricaded. So you don't expect that someone is going to come over here and do the common spawn peek, which is all around here. Some people run all the way out, or some people just jump over the edge. They spawn back in that corner, so it could go either way. But for the most part, no one really knows much about that specific thing, so use that to your advantage. This is just all about barricading. So that's just my common mistake plus an additional tip. So let's go into my common mistake number 2. So I'm actually going to shoot over for bank, because I only wanted to go on coastline really because that one aquarium spawn peek that I wanted to show you guys. But now that we're on bank, first we're going to go over quick peeking and re-peeking. So a thing you're going to start seeing a lot whenever you get into a higher rank, I think it's even like mid-gold is when you start seeing people that quick peek. I don't think any lower, but you're going to start seeing movements like this. So from this perspective, all you see is just a head bob over the corner. But usually all this entails is that they are looking without their sight. Usually people don't do this zoomed in. It used to be more viable, but zoomed in, it's just the animation's too slow now. That used to be some popular players, rank star players used to do this thing, and they got really famous for it. You might know a guy by the name of Bolo. This was kind of his signature move, was his quick peek. But one thing you need to know about that quick peek is they're always going to re-peek it. That is one thing I've learned about playing in ranks where people do this a lot. If you see someone do that and they know that you're there, just hold down the trigger. They are going to re-peek it. And if they don't, they're pretty much a rarity, but just always know that most people, especially high golds and low plats, they always re-peek this. They're going to check it there, and then they're going to do something like that, because that is that's just the way of the game. Everyone likes to re-peek. Now, sitting on the other perspective, don't always re-peek everything. Try to be unpredictable. If you do this, maybe come over here and go around the other side. Or if you go like this, right, you do your quick peek, come down at a different level. If you come down crouching when you started up high, say you went like this, and then you went down, well, now they're going to be aiming up higher, and if they are pre-firing, it would be up high. Or if you know they're pre-firing, don't walk into the pre-fire, of course. If you hear your gun going off after you do your re-peek, just stay behind, wait for his mag, and wait till it seems like he's about reloading, and then come over here and re-peek them up. So that will be the best way to peek and re-peek, and I just see that one, you know, that's the one that I would say is interchangeable for all ranks, because you're gonna see Smurfs doing that in bronze, and that's the problem with bronze, is there's a lot of Smurfs down there in copper bronze because people just like picking on them. I think partially it's also that YouTube culture. I feel like a lot of YouTubers do these series where they just tank down to copper and just kick copper's ass. So I just don't think that's good for the game, and it kind of promotes smurfing. So definitely, if you see Smurfs doing that, that is the best way to take them, and if you're just a higher rank, then it's still the best way to take them. So that was my little re-peeking guide. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is rotation holes, and I think I see this a lot, especially on this site. So whenever I'm playing in like gold, silver matches, sometimes, if I am ever playing in those ranks, this site in specific, and a lot of sites, the rotation holes are always janked up. So there's two options that I see with the rotational. I guess three. Sometimes people put it in the middle, but for the most part, you either see this or you see this. So these walls are always reinforced. These two, I'm not gonna reinforce them for these purposes, but I want to see if you guys know the difference between this rotation hole and this rotation hole. So this one's obviously more tucked into the corner, but this one is closer. So which one would you throw in your opinion? So I know my answer. It surely would not be this one, and that's unfortunately a problem. I see either here, or even here. These should, in theory, honestly be reinforced, if anything, and then your rotation hole should be back here, because the main thing is there's less angles to it. Now every site, I swear, there's some rotational issues. If I would have stayed on Coastline, there's always a rotation issue on Hookah. People like to throw it on the right side of the wall, but it should be on the left side of the wall. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. But same thing goes for this. Look how many angles I have into sight if I open this as a rotational. I've actually seen this rotational done a few times. It just, I reinforce over it because I can't. I really can't. Even this one's bad too, because it does leave this angle and you can't really fight it back. Now, if you're all tucked up in the corner, there's so much to look at. You got to clear all of these shelves before you could even look at the rotational. So it just adds so much more to trying to attack this janitor closet, which is obviously a very important part of the site. If you get janitor control, then you have kind of control of the whole site, assuming there's a rotational. There should always be rotationals as a defender, but just know and think through where should they be. While this one might be more convenient if you're actually just trying to rotate to the hallway, this one, on the other hand, is way safer, because first, you have better angles. You could use better angles with the shelving, and it's more tucked into the corner. So that's my little rant about rotation holes. This is definitely a bronze type thing, silver, bronze area, but just take this into consideration. Every site, think about it. Think about which one's smarter, not which one's more convenient. Always look at lines of sight. So, for example, the lines of sight into this hole is right here. It could go all the way into cache. And of course the windows. This one is only the windows. That's about all that can see it, except if someone rushed up the spiral stairs and was on the banana hallway. But that's unlikely. But this rotational, you easily have a rotation back into sight, while this one, your rotation goes through a cache walkway or someone just watching this angle. So this is tip number 4, common mistake number 4, and it is spamming in general. Spamming either leaning, right, either doing this, or crouch spamming. Now, at one point, just like how re-peeking used to be a good thing whenever you did this, it used to be really OP because the animations were just too fast. Now they're kind of slow in general. So whenever you're doing stuff like this, after your first crouch, you're up down, then it's like slow motion. It might look sort of the same for you. I mean, it slows down obviously if you keep going. This first crouch is the only one that has an effect on your actual body movement. Other than that, it kind of goes just absolute slow motion. And the same thing goes for if you walk around like this trying to confuse someone. It just doesn't work anymore. This used to be a thing where people would put macros onto their keyboard and stuff, which basically just means they combined a bunch of keys together where they only have to hit one key and it would do stuff. And they would have it so it hit C, E, and Q. So it would go absolutely insane, and they would use this with riot shields, and that's probably what actually changed most of this and the crouch spamming in general. So just know that only one crouch really counts, and that's the only time you should crouch. Just one crouch. Just play the game how it's meant to be played, basically. Don't be doing any of this nonsense. This is a lower player thing, mostly because they don't know that it's patched, because whenever you're seeing it from this screen, it still looks insane, and it used to actually look insane if you were the defenders, but now it just looks like nothing. It looks like you're just standing still in the middle of the walkway. walkways. So doing this does nothing for you. So just take that in mind. Crouch once, don't do this. So last but not least, this is the final one for this video, but this is barricading. In any of the reviews I've done with a bronze, even a silver, I've seen that barricading is so excessive. So what I see in bronzes is they barricade everything. Say the site is the site up top, so it's in the offices here. So they will barricade off stock, they will barricade off the site, and they'll just barricade everything they could possibly barricade. They'll even barricade your walls like this. Now the only thing you should barricade on this site in specific are these windows, so no Cali could shoot you from the garage and maybe this door. But you don't want to reinforce all of your rotations, because the problem with that, say this is reinforced as well, that's just kind of what I see with bronze, everything reinforced. Now the problem with this, while it seems smart in theory, you're barricading stuff off, they can't get through it without you knowing, yada yada yada, but you need your roamers to have easier access. By having this barricaded, first things first, is they don't even have to drone out this room whenever they're coming in through this window. Now the reason for that is, so they look at this window, they maybe do a little quick peek or something, and if this is barricaded, well, they know no one's going to be sitting in stock, so you can just walk in at that point, because no one's going to barricade themselves into the room. So you can just walk in at that point, so it just leaves easy time on the table. If you have it open and kind of have like barbed wire there or something, that could actually distract them. And next thing is, say this barricade's off. Well, if that's barricaded off, then that usually means no one's going to be roaming around the elevators or anything, because they have it barricaded off and there's no rotation in the site. And if there is someone roaming here, it kind of hurts you as well, because what if they somehow get into sight through maybe top square or something, and this player needs to rotate in? Well, he has to shoot through the barricade to get into sight, and now everyone on the map knows where he's coming from. So that one might seem like, okay, well, that one still doesn't make sense to me, but just remember the small things, the rotations. This map's all about rotation, not this map, but this game in general is all about rotations. So before barricading everything up, just think about what it does for the whole game, how it affects everything. If you have a roamer, he can't get back into sight. If you have it on main entry points, they know that it's clear. So that's all for today's common mistakes. This was kind of centered around bronzes, but I know these common mistakes run both ways. It can go all the way up to the plat ladder, diamond level. Some players do this forever. But if you try to avoid some of these mistakes, it could really, really help you out. So just keep that in mind. If you have any common mistakes for our next week, which is going to be silver, go ahead and leave that down below. Also, if you're looking for some teammates, go ahead and look into our Discord. If you join our Discord, there's over 700 members now in the Discord from this YouTube channel. It's from this YouTube channel. So go ahead and go in there, pick your platform, go to the platform that you're playing on, and ask if anyone wants to play. And usually people are down to play. A lot of people have found teammates through that. Even I play through that. So go check out that Discord. I'll see you guys next week with another common mistakes, and then we're going to have coaching videos all throughout. So if you want to get better at the game, please feel free to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.